Hey there, 30 here, and today I've decided to create this video and wanted to share it with you, and hopefully this adds value to your life. So good morning to you, my friend! Ikaw! Good morning to you, and I hope you're doing really well today. I hope you're in a safe place and masaya ka naman sa buhay mo, kapatid. Well, before anything else, I'd like to thank you for always supporting my videos. Maraming salamat po. And I hope that you continue to support so we can have more videos like this in the future. Let's go! Well, today's video is part 11! That's right, kapatid. Sobrang bilis. Part 11 na nga tayo. And I'm pretty excited today because etong topic na to is, I think, very interesting, and I hope that this can change your perspective in life as well. A few weeks ago, one of our pastors in church, hello po Tita Ched, shout out to you, preached about the story of 12 spies who were sent to scout the land of Canaan. And she talked about this mentality called grasshopper mentality. And I was so blessed kasi sobrang nabago yung pananaw ko sa buhay, and I want to share it with you, hoping that it would do the same thing to your life. And so I can't wait. So, question for today: have you ever watched a movie, specifically a horror movie, tapos bigla ka na bad trip dun sa bida? Halimbawa, nasa room siya, no? Tapos bigla siyang may narinig na kaluskos sa labas, and instead na magstay na lang siya dun sa room na yun, pupuntahan niya pa. Tapos nakakainis kasi sobrang eng niya. And so mainis ka na, gusto mo siyang sakalin, parang gusto mong pumasok dun sa TV, tas ikaw na lang yung maging bida dun. That's how I felt when I read this story from the Bible. You'll find it in the book of Numbers chapter 13 in the Old Testament. And the story goes, Moses sent 12 spies to scout the land of Canaan, which God had promised to the Israelites. Yun kasi yung promised land na pinramis ni Lord para sa mga Israelites. And all they have to do, yung mga spies na yun, was to check the land if it's okay or not. Number 2, i-check nila kung yung cities fortified or walled sila or open. And finally, number 3, yung mga nakatira doon sa city na yon, kung ano yung estado nila or ano yung ability nila, because they wanted to plan accordingly before they could conquer the land. So they want to make sure they get more information and detailed report doon sa land na yon. So the spies spent 40 days scouting the land, and when they returned, they were actually able to bring a sample of its produce, and including a cluster of grapes so large that it took 2 men to actually carry it. Yung alam kong grapes yung ganito lang kaliit. But they were able to have or get a huge grapes that required 2 men to actually carry it. So sobrang laki talaga nun, kapatid. And so they reported that the land was indeed rich and fertile. Kaso, eto na po. Kaso may problema. 10 out of those 12 spies reported that the inhabitants, yung mga nakatira doon, were very powerful, large and fortified yung mga cities nila doon. And then they also saw that the people there were giants, and they felt like grasshoppers in comparison. They expressed fear, saying, "We seem like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we look the same to them." Only 2 spies, Caleb and Joshua, had a different perspective. They believed that they could conquer the land with God's help. And yun yung in-instill nila sa mga Israelites na they need to have faith because they can actually take possession of the land. Kaso, despite the encouragement of Caleb and Joshua and yung positivity na ini-instill nila sa mga tao, they were still frightened, and mas pinili pa rin nila yung negative report ng 10 spies. And ending, they lost faith and they actually doubted their ability to take possession of the land. And nakakainis lang because before this happened, there were a lot of instances where God showed miracles before their eyes. Yung mga Israelites na nagdududa, pinakitaan ni Lord ng mga sobrang kakaiba at titinding mga milagro before their eyes, hoping that they would actually be convinced by now na yung Diyos na sinasamba nila buhay, and kailangan nilang magtiwala sa Kanya kasi hindi sila mapapahiya. Remember the plagues of Egypt, where God sent devastating plagues to convince and to persuade Pharaoh to release the Israelites from slavery. And kasama doon is yung turning water into blood, swarms of locusts, and the death of the firstborn. Another miracle was when God parted the Red Sea. Remember when the Israelites were trapped in the Red Sea, and the pursuing Egyptian army. Tapos God miraculously parted the waters and the people were able to cross on dry ground. Tapos pagkatapos nila makatawid, the sea closed back at yung mga Egyptians na humahabol sa kanila ay nalunod. Another thing was the water from the rock. When the Israelites were thirsty and had no water, ang sabi ni God kay Moses, strike the rock, and miraculously there was water that flowed out of those rock and nakainom lahat ng mga Israelites na yun. And out of all those miracles that God showed them, mas nangibabaw pa rin yung takot at hanggang ngayon hindi pa rin sila convinced na yung Diyos na sinasamba nila ay buhay. And so ang ending, hindi sila nagtiwala kay God. And because of that, they would not enter the promised land na pinramis sa kanila ni Lord. Yung promise naging compromise yung promise and they were not able to get it. Instead, they would wander in the desert for 40 years. Grabe. 1 year for each day the spies explored the land. Promised land na naging bato pa. Ayun yung nakakainis dun. And so they had this mentality called grasshopper mentality, wherein it's a mindset of inferiority, fear, and lack of self-confidence in the face of huge challenges. And it's quite interesting because I want to go deeper sa mga grasshoppers because they're quite interesting. Here are some quick facts about grasshoppers. Number 1, they rub their legs together to make chirping sounds. Kaya maingay sila pag sama-sama sila. And number 2, they're renowned for their incredible jumping ability. Kasi they can actually jump or leap up to 20 times their body length in a single jump. And that ability actually helps them escape from their predators and move quickly through their environment. And finally, number 3, they have ears in their belly, which allows them to feel the vibrations of the other grasshoppers. And as a result, pag may mga narinig silang mga ibang tipaklong na nag-chirp, they would also chirp themselves. So they would create sounds and they would just make sound and they would just be noisy. And marami pa to, no? But out of all those interesting facts about grasshoppers, they're actually not known for their ability to think. And I remember yung mga Israelites, when they heard the reports of the spies, they just began acting like they were grasshoppers. Hindi na sila nag-isip. They just started making sounds. They were chirping. They were murmuring. They were complaining. And they were just all about negativity. And they just embraced the grasshopper mentality. They saw how small they were to the giants, but they failed to actually see how big God is to those giants and to them. And if only they saw kung paano nakikita ni Lord sila, promised land would have been theirs. So the question we have is, what should we do to get rid of this grasshopper mentality? 10 out of those 12 spies had a negative report and they were really complaining about it. However, 2 out of those 12 spies that were sent out to scout the land of Canaan, Caleb and Joshua, had a different perspective. They actually had a positive report and they were trying to convince people that we can actually take possession of the land. And so they didn't allow the giants to dictate who they were, but how God saw them. And so sa buhay minsan we get huge problems in lives, and sometimes it's so easy to get or to feel intimidated or small or insignificant. Pero pag dumating yung mga times na yun, I hope that you remind yourself how God sees you. Because God sees you as His creation. You are created in His own image. You are loved unconditionally. You are the head and not the tail. You are valuable and precious. You are His children. You are forgiven and redeemed. You are actually a new creation, His workmanship. You are His friends. You are chosen and appointed, and you are known and understood, kapatid. That's how God sees you. And I hope the next time you see and face giants of challenges, remember that you're not the grasshopper. Change your perspective. You are actually the grass. You've got the greenest light to conquer, just like Caleb and Joshua. And you are rich in spirit, you are strong in faith, you are resilient in trials, and most importantly, you're essential in God's plan. Nothing can ever shake you, kapatid. So, you are stronger, way stronger, and more vibrant than you realize. I hope that you remember that when times of trouble or challenges in life. So, I hope that you've learned something today, and no more grasshopper mentality. Dapat Joshua and Caleb mentality lang tayo lagi para lagi tayong manalo sa buhay. So I hope you've learned something today, and I hope you were encouraged. And if you like this video, please consider to subscribe so you get this kind of videos in the upcoming uploads. So thank you mga kapatid, and I hope that you stay safe. Thank you. Bye!